What is going on, everybody? It is me again. It's HorrorFan34, and welcome to another video. And I know it's been a week since I did a video. It was my last ritual video that I did, where I do dinner and a movie. But just been taking a little bit of a break from doing videos because I did like 25 videos for the Christmas challenge and things like that. And I did the Christmas gifts video and things like that. So hope all you guys had a great Happy New Year. Welcome 2021. And it's, with all the deaths that are happening, it's already off to a pretty shitty start. I mean, we've lost Marion Ramsey from the Police Academy movies, and Tommy Lasorda, Dodgers manager for many years. I mean, Gary Clark from Day of the Dead, Tanya Roberts from that '70s show, and Beastmaster, and things like that. So, but I figured that I'd do a very huge Blu-ray and DVD update for you guys. I know I showed most of these already before in the Christmas gift video, but I kind of breezed through those very quickly, so I kind of want to do more, talking about these films and my thoughts on them and, things like that. So I'll start with the DVDs, because that's the very short amount of DVDs that I have, and then I'll get into all the other Blu-rays. So, like I said, all of these are fairly most recent, like that you saw in the Christmas video, but some of these are actually brand new that I most recently got, so I'll save the more brand newer ones at the end, so I'll get through the other ones that you've seen already, but I kind of want to talk more about these ones, and I don't know how many parts this would be, depending on how much I ramble on about each film, but let's get to it. But the DVDs first. Son-in-Law. So really fun movie. Definitely my personal favorite Pauly Shore film, where he is a guy who meets this girl played by Carla Gugino, and he has nowhere to go for Thanksgiving, so she invites him back to her place in the Midwest for Thanksgiving, and she's kind of more of a country girl and things like that, so he has to kind of struggle to be kind of like part of her family, because they're more like the farm life. He's more of like a city guy, and eventually, the family starts warming up to him and things like that. It's a really fun flick. Directed by Steve Rash, so I know that guy directed some other things too, but definitely my personal favorite Pauly Shore film. Like I said, Carla Gugino you have in there. You also have Lane Smith as her dad in the background there. May rest in peace, Coach Riley from the Mighty Ducks. He was in The Adventures of Lois and Clark as Perry White. Been in a lot of stuff. You also have Cindy Pickett as the mom, Ferris's mom from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You also have Patrick Renna as Carla Gugino's little brother, Ham from The Sandlot. You also have Tiffany Amber Thiessen from Saved by the Bell and things like that. She's also has a supporting role in this. So, really good cast, a lot of really good fun, laugh-out-loud moments. Definitely a really fun movie, Son-in-Law. Now, these ones here, some of the Richard Pryor stuff I showed, but my favorite stand-up, Here and Now. I always love that great line that he says in this, where he talks about how he doesn't do drugs anymore, and there's a heckler saying, "Bullshit." And then Richard Pryor goes, "Bullshit, my dick." So, I always thought that was a really funny line from Richard Pryor. But, fun stand-up, Here and Now. And also, Live on the Sunset Strip. Another really fun stand-up that he did. This was, I believe Here and Now was 82 or something like that. Or, no, 83. And this one was 82, so this was 82. This was around the time when Richard Pryor was doing Some Kind of Hero, when The Toy, and this is before he did Superman 3. Like I said, Richard Pryor is one of those comedians that I always really do miss. I need to get his other stand-up called Live in Concert, but that's out of print and goes for a really high amount on Amazon. And some other Richard Pryor films that I added. Some Kind of Hero. Now, the poster for this film is kind of misleading a little bit, because this cover kind of makes you think like it'll be like Stripes, with Bill Murray or Major Payne with Damon Wayans, but it's not like that at all. You wouldn't really know that this was a drama based on this cover, or kind of like In the Army Now with Pauly Shore. This is more. It's got some comedic moments in the film, but it's definitely more of a drama, where Richard Pryor was a POW in Vietnam who comes back to live a normal life and tries to make money and things like that. It's a really good dramatic film for Richard Pryor. Same guy that directed Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, did this film. You also have Margot Kidder, may she rest in peace, from Superman. You have Ronnie Cox from Total Recall. So, another solid Richard Pryor movie. Now, this one is definitely more of a full-fledged comedy for Richard Pryor, and that is Bustin' Loose, which I know this got a Blu-ray from Kino Lorber, but maybe one day I'll pick that up, but I'm just fine with keeping the DVD for now. Richard Pryor plays a guy who's a criminal who has to go across country with these kids, and he's joined by Cicely Tyson, who's a teacher. And he learns some life lessons along the way. It's definitely it's got some couple dramatic moments, but definitely more of a comedy first. Directed by Oz Scott, which I don't know what he's directed since or at before that. And of course, Lethal Weapon 3. Actually, my second personal favorite of the Lethal Weapon films. I love the first Lethal Weapon. That's still my personal favorite. But I would say this is my second favorite of the franchise. Like, just a very fun, entertaining, action-packed. I actually don't mind the villain in this, played by Stuart Wilson, who's like a dirty cop. But I still think this is a highly entertaining sequel. And still the dynamic between Mel Gibson and Danny Glover is still fantastic. And the last of the DVDs that I have here is one of my personal favorite parodies, National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1, which of course is a parody on buddy cop movies, where they kind of spoof Lethal Weapon and things like that, and your two cops, like it's kind of like a spoof on Lethal Weapon. You have your two main characters, kind of like a Murtaugh and Riggs. You have Emilio Estevez and Sam Jackson. And a lot of really great people in here. John Lovitz, Tim Curry, Kathy Ireland, William Shatner, Corey Feldman, Phil Hartman, J.T. Walsh, Bruce Willis. I'm trying to think who else has... Charlie Sheen has a cameo. I'm trying to think who else has a cameo. There's a lot of people. Like I said, Corey Feldman, Bruce Willis. Whoopi Goldberg has a cameo in this as well. Like a William Shatner, Tim Curry. Just a really insane cast of people. A lot of really fun cameos. And Bruce Willis actually had his cameos actually as John McClane, which I think is pretty damn fun. So, if you like spoof movies, I say this is definitely one of the more underrated of that kind of a genre. I would say this is one of my personal... I would say this is my top 10 favorite parody films, up there with Spaceballs and Hot Shots Part 2 and Scary Movie and things like that. So, that was all the DVDs. Now we're getting into the Blu-rays. First up is Scrooged. Really fun movie with Bill Murray. I'd say definitely one of my personal favorite Bill Murray films. Were to take on the Christmas Carol story, kind of done more in modern time, where he's a news executive and things like that, and he's visited by the ghosts and showing him what his life would have been like if he was dead and things like that. Really fun movie, really funny. It's got a good heart to the film as well, and another great cast in here. You have you have Karen Allen from Starman, Animal House, Raiders of the Lost Ark. You have John Forsythe. You have Bobcat Goldthwait from the Police Academy movies. Carol Kane from License to Drive. Robert Mitchum, Michael J. Pollard, Alfred Woodard. Musical score by Danny Elfman. Directed by Richard Donner. I definitely would probably say my favorite Richard Donner film is Lethal Weapon. Then I'd probably say this is my second favorite Richard Donner film. I love Scrooged. Next one here is a Scream Factory Blu-ray. Shocker. Like I said, my Scream Factory collection has been growing. Really happy to have this for the collection for Scream Factory. Really good features on here. Commentary with Wes Craven. Interviews with Mitch Pileggi, Cammy Cooper, the executive producer. The music of Shocker. So, and of course, this is the alternate artwork. The alternate artwork compared to the Scream Factory artwork. I always love the original poster. But I say one of my personal favorite Wes Craven films. My personal favorite is The Serpent and the Rainbow. That's definitely in my top 5. Then also another Scream Factory, Bordello of Blood. Not as good as Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight, but I still think it's a fun movie. Even though there are, I know this film had a really bad troubled production, like how, like Dennis Miller apparently was an asshole to work with, and actually, they actually mentioned it in the making of documentary where they interviewed Corey Feldman, Angie Everhart, Erica Leniak, A.L. Katz, who was the co-producer. Corey Feldman talks about how, like, he tried to be friends with Dennis Miller on the set, and Dennis Miller was an asshole and acted like a piece of shit. And there was a point where Corey Feldman talks about how when Dennis Miller, the first morning they were shooting with him, Dennis Miller was, like, reading a newspaper, and the producers, like, yelled to him. They're like, "Good morning, Dennis!" Well, Dennis Miller has his paper. Like, Corey Feldman's talking about this. Dennis Miller has reading his newspaper, and he's just looking down, not looking, and he's walking by the producers while reading his paper. And then the guys on the set go, they go, "Good morning, Dennis," and he's just like, "Uh-huh," and never looks up. So, a lot of stories that I know Angie Everhart had a lot of problems with Dennis Miller. I know a lot of the actors were really pissed off at Dennis Miller because, like, some days he didn't feel like shooting and things like that. So that really pissed off a lot of people. I mean, Dennis Miller, he's a very entertaining in the film, but him as a person just, I don't know. I've seen interviews with him and just rubs me the wrong way, just the way he acts and, things like that. So, and also Corey Feldman tried to be friends with Erica Leniak, who is right there with my fingers at right there. Apparently, she was real stuck up and just stuck in her trailer. So